fellow friends and neighbors. Welcome in the light, where laughter's the answer and hearts are shining bright. With calloused hands and wits, so raise your sharp. Let's praise a place where love ignites the spark. In the field of dreams, where sweat and hope combine, we'll raise our voices high and toast to the divine. Be your best and let your spirit always rise. Give thanks for every moment under sunny skies. Be the sunny side of someone else's life. Share your light and joy through struggle and strife. Keep your heart open and your soul always bright. Together we will share this sunny side life. Be the sunny side of someone else's life. Share your light and joy through struggle and strife. Keep your heart open and your soul always bright. Together we will share this sunny side life.
Hello, friends and neighbors, and welcome to the sunny side of life. What a week it has been. Since Cinco de Mayo, whatever that is, last week, we had a scintillating discussion about taxes and so forth. We're not going to do that again because I think you can only handle, as I can, so much talk about property taxes and things like that. What I want to talk about, though, is some of the things that I did that you might not believe that I did, because I did something that I'd never done before, and I'm not sure that I ever thought that I would do it, but I did it anyway. And what was that I did? Well, I sheared sheep. I don't have sheep. My friend Don Johnson has sheep. And I went out on Thursday to Heartland Hill, which is his wonderful little acreage and farm operation that he's got going on since he moved back to the hometown from Omaha. And he has 5 sheep. Well, he's got more than that, but there were 5 sheep that needed to be shorn. And I was under the impression, wrongfully so, that Don had, because he had sheep, knew how to shear sheep, because I certainly don't know how to shear sheep. I've never done that. We didn't have sheep when I was growing up. We had pigs. Pigs don't need to be shorn. And if they do, they're not the kind of pigs we had. And so I just didn't understand what needed to be done. So I wanted to do it, and I was looking forward to doing that because I'm like, I want to learn new things. I don't know where this could come in handy, but in another life perhaps, or if there's you have to be ready for the end times or the zombie apocalypse, and if there happen to be sheep around and you need them for wool production or whatever, then you might need to know how to shear sheep. And so I watched videos the day of, Thursday morning. Don wanted to start at 9 o'clock in the morning, which I think is a little later than I guess probably a lot of farmers maybe start, but he might have done a lot of stuff in the morning. He explained to me what we were going to do. He said, we're going to have some coffee. We're going to watch a video how to do this. And then we're going to pray. And then we're going to go and shear these sheep. I said, I'll be there. And so I watched about 3 videos, a couple from New Zealand and one from Australia, where I think they really know what they're talking about when it comes to shearing sheep. And so it appears from these videos that they really do know what they're talking about. And I know that there are places around the world that are just experts at giving sheep haircuts. And that's just not something that's in my wheelhouse. So I watched, as I often do when I don't know how to do something, YouTube, and I watched these videos, and they made it look so easy. They explained what they were doing. They were showing you, I'm like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, 3 minutes tops. You'd have this sheep shorn. And I'm thinking, this doesn't look that hard, because according to the videos, you can just hold the sheep, like grab them kind of by the nose from behind, and then pick them up, tilt them back into your lap, essentially, as you're standing. And then you position your feet in a certain way, kind of intertwined with their feet. And so they just kind of sit in your lap, and they sit back in that position. They're quite docile most of the time. I learned. And you start shearing. You go down the neck, then you work around, clear out the crotch area, get the old Brazilian going on for the U's, and then you work your way back up off the sides, and then you turn them around, another position over here. You do the flanks, whatever, and then et cetera, et cetera. And in 5 positions in less than a couple of minutes, bingo, bango, bongo, you got wool. It's a fleece, and you put it in a stack of fleece that people sell for wool, and I love wool. I mean, I love wool. I think it works great for. It's one of the best types of things that you can have in the winter. And since we live here in the upper Midwest, you need to have those warm woolen clothing. And I do sweaters, and I don't know how to make any of it. I don't know how to turn wool into a sweater. And apparently, I also don't know how to turn wool into a fleece or none of us do. And that's a whole, I'll get there. So I watched those videos. I had some coffee, and then I packed up my video equipment because I have video equipment that I don't use in the studio, and I took it out to Heartland Hill and started making a video. I made a video. You can watch the entire thing that I'm talking about on YouTube, on our Sunnyside Farm Studios YouTube channel. It's first time shearing sheep, not as easy as it looks on YouTube. I don't know how to do YouTube titles correctly, and I'm not terrific at video editing yet. It takes a lot of time. It takes more time to do that than it does to put together a podcast. I'll tell you that. And even when I do like really extensive creative production audio, it's just a lot more. And I don't really like it, but I know how to do it. I guess we'll see if I continue to develop that skill as well. But I thought it would be, this would be a great opportunity to kind of show you guys what it is that kind of fills my week sometimes. I thought it'd be probably a couple hours. Both Don and I had a meeting at noon because Ragbri is coming to town on the 22nd of July, and we need to prepare for that. And so we're on those committees, and that's a whole different story. But we've been going to a lot of meetings because of the Register's annual Great Bike Ride around Iowa. And so we had to be, I figured, but we start at 9, 3 hours, 5 sheep. I mean, even novices can be done in that amount of time, certainly, because according to the YouTube videos, it's really easy. And it's so easy. Man, was I wrong. So I drove out to Don's place and met up with him. And he actually met him in the driveway. He's like, hey, we got to go get Paul. And Paul is a friend of Don's dad who had kind of helped Don's dad, Dean, out for quite a while, friend of the family, and has been very helpful to Don since he and Barb, the family, moved back to Forest City. And they've just done a great job. Paul has been a helping hand on the farm, building buildings, helping Don do everything. And as you may or may not know, I do sell hay, and Don is one of my better customers. So Paul often helps move the hay, too. He's getting older, and even he would admit that he's not quite as maybe as strong as he used to be, but he loves it. And so hop in the pickup truck with Don in his truck, and then off we go back into town, and then we pick up Paul on a street corner. He's just waiting like a kindergartner waiting for the bus. He's got his backpack, and he's ready to roll. So we get in. He hops in. He now realizes that I'm going to be filming this venture, and off we go back to Heartland Hill. When we got there, I took some, B-roll of all the cool little things he's got going on. He's got sheep, and obviously that's who we're going to shear. And he's got goats, and he's got a cow, and he's got chickens, and there's ducks and turkeys somewhere, and there's rabbits probably, just all kinds of critters that he's got going on out there at Heartland Hill. And he takes care of them all. He and Barb take care of all of that, and it's really awesome. So we start, just like Don said, we're going to go into the shop. He's got a nice little shop there, and we started watching. They were watching a video, and this was an American dude who is also very good at shearing sheep and was able to instruct it without the accent from New Zealand or Australia, if they have one. I don't know, do they? But anyway, they do. And so it was a little easier to understand him in some ways. But still, he really was breaking it down. It was a longer video than what I watched, which could explain why I thought it didn't take very long to shear a sheep. But yeah, we watched that whole thing. And I tell you, when you listen to a video, or, there's three of us and they're watching it on the phone, and you'll see it in the video that there's something going on. I don't even know who it was that we were watching, so I can't even give credit to him. But he seemed very helpful. He seemed very knowledgeable. He was really instructing the five different positions of how to hold the sheep and get them shorn properly, et cetera, et cetera. And we were really studying that, and I was filming at the same time. And so I was a little bit further away, but I could hear it better than I could see it. But I'd seen, videos already that morning. So how different could it be? And when you listen to the description of a man describing how to shear a sheep, it is, if you're not careful, it doesn't sound maybe like they're talking about shearing a sheep. And so I had to look a little closer to make sure we knew what we were talking about. And they were studying it. We were all paying attention. And then we got done with that. And then it was there were some conversations about what might happen if the sheep got loose. We got to really hold on to them, make sure that they don't get away from us, because the fear would be once they take off, we're not going to get them back. And there was some ideas about maybe putting down some, like a tarp or some plastic, maybe a little drop cloth outside so that we could collect the wool a little bit easier. That was a bad idea. It turned out, by the way, that we used plastic, and at first it seemed like it was going to be a good idea because it does kind of keep the sheep off the grass and the dirt, and it does collect the wool as you cut it away. However, the sheep also, they do their business whenever they want, and so then it just holds it all right there on the plastic, and it all becomes a little bit messy after the third sheep. We finally discarded it. It was pretty gross. And so they didn't do that in any of the videos. There was no plastic or drop cloth or anything like that in any of the videos. So again, probably should have taken what they were doing in the professional videos with the instructions on how to shear a sheep a lot more seriously than apparently we did. But then we prayed, which is great because so Paul led the prayer, and that's on the video too. It's really cool and just a great way to start your day and some sort of work of any kind, and particularly in this case where the three of us had never done this before. So a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of guidance, a little bit of good memory recall from the videos that we had just seen that had been provided to us. And then we said amen, and then we didn't pay attention to anything the video said after that. We went out, and Don had to move some things. We had to get things positioned. He had to feed the chicken, so I got some more B-roll. And then it was time to start shearing sheep, and I was pretty excited about it. I had the cameras all set up, different angles and whatnot. And then, although they weren't perfect, I mean, it's fine. I mean, you'll see if you watch the video. And so we went about pulling out the first sheep, who was a ewe. That's a lady sheep. And didn't look too bad to me. I figured, well, this seems like a normal sheep amount of wool, as being no expert of sheepery or anything like that. It seemed like it was a medium amount of wool. And so Don and Paul grabbed the sheep, and they got it in position, and Don started shearing sheep. And he last year had started this process, and his wife Barb's so funny because she loves to tell the story. She does a much better job than I will. But essentially, Don wanted to just do it the old-fashioned way, and he was going to buy like the hand shear. The ones you operate with your hand. There's no motor. It's not electric. You don't plug it in. It's just their shears. It's like 1840. And so he bought a new one of those and drove all the way, 40 miles away, picked it up, brought it back home, started using it, furious. It didn't work. Took it back, told the people at the farm and fleet store that it didn't work. I'm sure they were thinking, why did you buy that? And so then he bought a different, more like a groomer type shearer, which isn't really a shear. It'd be like what you'd maybe, cut your dog's hair with. It's really not meant for wool. And so he drove all the way back and he tried that, and that didn't work either. So he was furious, and he took it back. And finally, Barb convinced him that he should just spend the money to get the, and there might have been even more fiascos with that. So I did hear the story, and he did get this. So he's got this nice Oster, sheep shearing. Well, it's a shear, and that's what it's for. That's what it's for, and it's pretty massive, and it looks cool, and I think it's kind of expensive. So and this would be the first time that he has used that, because what happened last year is by the time they went through this series of situations with the shears that Don had purchased initially, apparently over a series of days or maybe even weeks, they started and they got so frustrated, and then it's July now, and they're like, we can't shear these sheep because they'll be freezing in the winter. I didn't realize that was the timeline. I found that out at church talking to Barb this weekend. And now that makes a lot more sense, because really this was 2 years of wool on these sheep. And that's a lot of wool. The first sheep didn't seem like it was that much wool. But again, not being an expert in sheep, I thought maybe this is just the medium wool. Maybe this is what sheep look like. And so we went about doing that, and he was shearing the sheep. Now, it says that you're supposed to hold it by the nose, set it back like I was talking about, like they're in a recliner, and then this is one person who does this, all one person operation. We got 3 of us and one set of shears. And so, and one blade. That'll come in. That's an important story, part of the story later on. One blade for the shears. It turns out you need more than that, because wool is hard to cut, especially if it's 2 years worth of wool and you have to occasionally go through some dirt and other things. So he started shearing away, and it wasn't going great automatically. And he thought maybe that had to do with you have to oil it. And so you do have to oil these things. That is for sure. But, and so he was oiling the blades and whatnot and getting that going. And did work a little bit better that way, but it was still kind of slow going. And I'm thinking immediately, like, we're like 5 minutes into this already. We should be done with like a sheep or 2 at this point. And it occurs to me that this is going to take us a little bit longer. But we're novices, so you got to learn. You can't. Rome wasn't built in a day, and their sheep sure weren't shorn in a day apparently either. So we have 5 sheep to get through, and the first one is it's taken quite a while. At a certain point, so you're supposed to go down and smooth strokes, and you kind of follow the skin. And the guys even say on the videos you're not going to be able to see, so you just have to feel it. You have to feel your way through there, which is daunting, because I don't know what a sheep's body looks like, without all that wool on it. And, so you just want to be very careful not to nick them. And so how you hold that shear is very important. And there is a technique to it. And I feel like eventually we figured it out. But boy, at first, it was kind of slow going. It really wasn't. It wasn't going well at all, to be honest with you. And also, you're not supposed to pull the wool with your hand. Like, you're not supposed to pull it up like you're cutting your child's hair and holding the hair and then cutting behind it. And the reason for that is because the sheep's skin comes with the hair, with the wool, and so that's how you get nicks in their skin. And sheep skin is quite thin, which would explain probably why it was used as a prophylactic back in Roman times. It's very thin. And so if you cut it, it kind of like opens up. It doesn't open all the way up, but it's like, it's a nick. And you don't want that to get infected. We did nick them a few times, I'll tell you that. And part of it was, picking up the wool, you got to leave it alone. You couldn't resist it. And so we did almost nothing like what the video said to do. We didn't hold them that way much. We didn't cut the wool the right way. We didn't oil the machine the right way, it turns out, because, it turns out. So at a certain point, I took my hand, you gave it a shot. I took over for Paul, who had been holding the first sheep, and then I took over for him, and then was holding it for Don. And then at a certain point, it was my turn to shear, never having done it, but felt like I had watched enough videos where I feel like I could maybe try to replicate what was going on in the videos there from New Zealand and Australia, and even the American guy, because they all did it the same way. We were not doing it that way. I guess we were inventing our own way of doing it, which is probably not the best way to do it. So there's a lot of experts in sheep shearing, and we're not they. But anyway, so I went about it, and I started going straight down and feeling my way, and that seemed to work out okay. At a certain point, it was going pretty good. I was really into it. Like I was like, I feel like I could be good at this. I don't know why I need to be good at it, but I feel like I could be good at this. And so it was going pretty good. And then I noticed while I was holding the shears that there are two little holes on the handle, and each one of them is labeled. It says oil. Now, to be fair, it's in raised lettering. The shear is black, and so it's it might be hard to notice. They do kind of look like set screw holes, but they're oil holes, and you're supposed to oil there, not on the blade. So at a certain point, I asked for the oil, and I just put it in those holes where it said oil, and boy, after that, it really worked pretty smooth. Even Don, he came back over because Paul and I were working together, and we had to take breaks because this 2.5 minute sheep shearing operation per sheep was turning into a long time. It was like we're at 25 minutes now, and maybe longer. And so we started shearing away, and he's like, "Well, that looks like it's pretty good. Is that your technique?" And you can hear it on the video if you really listen. He's like, "Is that your technique or whatever?" And I'm like, "My technique? I've never done this before. I just watch videos like you." No, it's not technique, And then he's like, "Well, it's really operating smooth. It sounds really good." And then I had to come clean and say that, I think that the oil's supposed to go where it says oil in these two holes. And he laughed about that because, and Paul had been reading the instructions, or at least it looked like. At a certain point, he sits down, you can see it in the video, and he takes a breather, and it looks like he's reading the instructions to the oster, but maybe not, because that was all news to all of us until we found out that's where those holes were, and that's what they were for. It took a while, but eventually we did get that first sheep shorn, and it didn't look great. I was, in my mind, remembering the show sheep, lambs or whatever, from when I was in 4-H a long time ago, and like I said, we didn't have sheep. We had pigs, but you'd always look at what the other kids brought to the fair, and I was like, those sheep look really cool. Whoever cut their hair is pretty cool, and it's wool, not hair, although there are hair sheep, apparently. And so I was trying to go for that. That was not the result that I got, but we did get it done. It took 36 minutes. 36 minutes to do the first sheep. My back was paining, my legs were aching, and we were only 1/5 done. And at this point, because there was some messing around before we got started, it's probably 10:30, and so on to the next sheep. That one goes about as actually worse than the first one. That had a lot more hair on it, a lot more wool. That's wool. It's wool, Troy. These are not, you don't have to shear the hair sheep. Had a lot more wool. That one took longer. That took 45 minutes to do the second one. So we got done about 11:15, 11:20, 11:30, in that range. We're just beat down. We don't want to really, none of us want to do it anymore, but we know that there's 3 left that we have to do. And Don and I have to go to this meeting at noon. Paul's happy to take a break. So Don and I take off. I kind of put the cameras away after that. I'm like, we get it. Like, you're not going to want to watch us shearing sheep that much. I got enough to get you the idea of what's happening. And that you can find on, like I said, on YouTube. First time shearing sheep, not as easy as it looks on Sunnyside Farm Studios channel. If you aren't subscribed yet, you should subscribe, because that's where all of our podcasts are as well, on YouTube, the Gridiron Club, the Sunnyside of Life, and of course, the Mr. B's Dinner Party. And so all of that is on the YouTube channel, as well as videos, whatever videos I have. I don't have a lot of videos loaded up there, but that's the idea. So anyway, we went to this meeting. We come back. I had to come back a little bit later. I had to meet another person regarding RegBri, and then I got back about 1:30. They're halfway through sheep number 3. Halfway might be a little generous, but it's starting to, you can tell that it's starting to dull a little bit. The blade's getting a little dull. It's not going as fast. We're just not getting through these things any faster than 45 minutes, So sheep number 4. All right, now I have to I'm going to meet my wife I have to be home by 3. And the reason is because it's conference track. By the way, my son Colin, running in conference track, is the high jump champion for the Top of Iowa West Conference. Pretty proud of him. Started out the year, couldn't get over 5'10", and now he's jumping 6'3" and going as high as he can. He only needed 6 feet to win the conference champ. So now on to district this week. Pretty excited about that. So go Colin. And he's also doing well in hurdles. He does the shuttle hurdle relay. He's running the 200, and he's running some medley. So he's got some speed like his brothers, but he's also doing some cool things that they weren't doing, like the high jump. He's done some long jumping, but I think he's going to stick with the high jump. He's had success there, and some hurdles and these medleys. He's doing really well, and he's fast. So anyway, so I had to leave. I had like 3 o'clock. I have to be gone, and because I'm got to get home. I got to shower, because you do smell. Sheep don't smell terrible, even ones that have had wool on them for like 2 years. They really don't smell terrible, but you still smell like sheep. And so I needed to get home, need to shower up, get ready so we could head out by 3:30, get over to where we needed to be. Anyway, with that in mind, and knowing how long it's been taking us, sheep number 4, I'm like, Don, I gotta go, I gotta leave. Let's do the ram. And the ram has this beautiful white face. And he is just a Q-tip. I mean, he's got his white face, and he's just a balloon of wool. He is a Goodyear blimp of wool, beautiful wool, gray wool on the outside. And we would find out that wool is probably 6 or 7 inches thick. And inside, it was like 2 kinds of wool. There was the outside wool, which was gray and kind of a little longer, hairy, and then underneath that was this most beautiful white fleece. I'm not an expert in wool, but I know that looked pretty good. And he was not the same. It was easier to get the ewes to let us shear them than Rambo. Rambo was a difficult, he was, he's the protector of the little herd there. Those are his ladies. And he's got a pretty fantastic afro. It looks amazing. He's not really interested in having it cut down by these 3 knuckleheads. But we wrestled him to the ground. And unlike the movies Rambo, we did succeed in getting our mission accomplished on Rambo. But it took forever. I texted Heidi. I was like, I'm going to have to meet you there because this is taking forever. And the blade was getting duller and duller and duller. I will say this though, it seemed easier to me to be able to cut around the male parts of the sheep, Rambo, because you can see where those things are. Whereas with the lady parts of the ewes, I was nervous about that. I didn't want to wreck any udders or anything. That's a little different. So Rambo was a battle, but we got it done, and then I had to leave. I had to get out of there. I mean, I didn't want to miss conference, and they always do the field events first. So I said, Don, I got to go. I feel bad. I know you got one left, you and Paul. And he's like, whatever, you don't work, you don't work for me. You just came out here to help me out. So I appreciate whatever you can do. So they did finish the fifth one, but by then the blade was so dull, from what I understand, that it looks pretty patchy. It's not a good situation. So he's going to order more, or he has ordered more blades, and they'll be coming in. And sounds like he's going to go back out and do a little trimming to get these sheep there. But I think the more you do it, the better you get. I don't know how many sheep one has to shear to go from 45 minutes down to 3 minutes, like they do in Australia and New Zealand. And maybe that'll never happen, but I will probably only be shearing, a few sheep a year as I help out Don. It is interesting, and it is kind of funny to watch us try to do this. I did learn a lot, and I felt like we had a good time. But man, were we sore the next day. It was so sore. Just my back, my legs. I felt like I'd done like a million lunges. And who am I kidding? I felt like I did like 50 lunges. I would never do a million lunges. And so we were sore. And all day Friday, just really stiff moving about. But it was a good experience. So that's what I did. And there is a Sunnyside of Life video that is on our channel, the Sunnyside Farm Studios channel. Subscribe to it, like it, share it with your friends, all that stuff. I don't put any of the, hey, smash the like button, like you don't know what to do. It's like people that leave instructions on an answering service. At this point, your voicemail, if you don't know what the beep means, I don't know where you've been for the last 40 years. We kind of know how to do that. But yet every video seems to demand that you like or smash that like button. And that stuff irritates. I don't care if you like my video or not, really don't. But if you do, great. And do whatever you want with it. It is. I haven't seen any videos where people really suck at shearing sheep. I've only seen videos of people doing a really good job. Somebody has to put out an educational video that explains exactly what happens when you just think you're going to go start shearing sheep. And it's not like there's like a lot of expert shearers around that I'm aware of. I don't know if there's like a Facebook, but there probably is actually a Facebook page for it now that I think about it. But anyway, I didn't know how to do it. I just wanted to learn how to do it. And that was a lot harder than I thought. Really, quite a bit harder than I thought. Anyway, that's my adventure for the week. Looking forward to district track this week. Like I said, watching my son Colin there. But hey, I'm going to wrap this show up. It's not going to be a real long one. I just wanted to also, since this weekend was Mother's Day, shout out to my mom, who is the best mom I've ever had, and I think she's pretty phenomenal. She raised 3 of us kids, and of course we're all not very kid-like anymore, but we just love our mom, and she's just been such a strong force in our lives. She's just been so supportive, and she's she's just a defender of her family, and hardworking, and has high expectations, and has been a great grandma. She's not a great grandma, but she is a fantastic grandmother, and to all of her grandchildren. And so it's just been, she's just wonderful. And I feel like that's probably how, I hope that's how most of you feel about your moms. My mother-in-law, Beverly, just a wonderful lady, also a wonderful mom to obviously my wife Heidi and her brother, raising those 2 kids, and also with the grandkids, and just attending all of the events and being supportive and kind, and just a hard worker as well, and high expectations. And so just a wonderful mother-in-law, and of course my wife Heidi, right? So just couldn't ask for a better mom to our kids. 4 boys. She's the queen of the house. Even our dog is a boy. And so she's just rolled with it, just like in her professional life. She's, the minority in the sales world that she exists in, which she exists, I should say, and has just always been fantastic. And she's just a fantastic mother. She pays attention to details. She never misses anything. She absolutely obviously loves on all of our boys and thinks of their needs. They go to her. They have a wonderful, honest relationship with her and with me, but she's the one that initiates and maintains that and is the glue for sure that holds everything together and does it in just such a gracious and wonderful way that, it's hard to, explain perfectly what you want your wife to know about how they mother your kids. And she just does it like an ace. And so that's just a wonderful thing. And for Mother's Day, I hope that you have had the same opportunity to spend time with your mother, to share your feelings and your gratitude, your appreciation for moms, and we all should, because look, I think the best boys are mama's boys in a good way, not in a sissy pansy way, but in a good way, like you love your mother. That's a good thing, and you just can never, you can just, the moms are, they just hold the whole world together, don't they? And so it was very good Mother's Day, and I hope it was for you as well, and for your mother particularly. So to all the moms out there, I know we have moms that listen to this show, and we all have moms. Some of our moms that are out there listening to, some of you, their moms have moved on to greener pastures and are no longer with us, but I know you think of them and you care about them, and you continue to learn from them. As we age and mature and gain wisdom, we look to our parents. If they're still with us, we seek their guidance. We pay attention to how they did things. We look back on the retrospect of our own lives and are aware now of the scenarios or situations, hopefully, that help us understand what they were going through and how well they did. And for those of you who have lost mom, and then, you just continue to think about what it was that she did for you and for your siblings, if you have them, and how she was as a person, as a spouse, as a community member, and all of those things. And we love our moms. That's what it's all about, for sure. And it's not just a greeting card day, although I'm sure that the greeting cards do really well on Mother's Day. Well, friends and neighbors, I want to keep it short because I spent way too much time editing a less than 15-minute video explaining why the first time shearing sheep was not as easy as it looks on YouTube. And I hope you take a chance to take a look at that. And in the meantime, I hope that if you share it because you feel like it's a worthwhile thing to share, or not, that whatever it is that you do share this week, that you will share it in love, compassion, kindness, with the intention to be the sunny side of someone else's life.
When the shadows fall and doubts begin to creep, remember, together we're strong, never weak. Lift your neighbor up with kindness every day. Let your actions speak the words you want to say.
The Sunny Side of Life is a weekly production about our life on the family farmstead here in Iowa, the liberties we prize, and the pursuits which make us happy. None of this is possible, of course, without Christ in our lives. For the Lord God is our sun and our shield. He gives us grace and glory.
Be the sunny side of someone else's life. Share your light light and joy through struggle and strife. Keep your heart open and your soul always bright. Together we will share this sunny side life. Be the sunny side of someone else's life. Share your light and joy through struggle and strife. Keep your heart open and your soul always bright. Together we will share this sunny side life.
May the Lord bless you and keep you, and may the sunny side of your life in Christ be made evident unto you each and every day, and give you peace.